What is up, y'all? Today is day 3 of this daily video thingamajigger that I'm doing. 30-day challenge. I just want to get videos out on this YouTube thing. Maybe it may impact your life while I'm at it, alright? Today, I wanted to talk about love. I think that's something I've always sort of avoided. You know, love meaning like with another person, with a relationship. Because, well, I've had like one true relationship, and ever since then I haven't. It's not like it's been a traumatic experience, no. But I've been it's been about a year and some change, I should say. And I could say to you that like, look, like not that it doesn't get any better, but those same thoughts you have when you first get over someone, or you're first getting over someone, they're never really gonna get away, and so you just get better at dealing with it. You know, my first love. It's not. I think about her a lot. I'm not gonna lie. That I don't even realize I do. But it's like I just unconsciously compare her to other people. I unconsciously just assume that she's the one still, right? And it's because of that attachment I've had to her. I've had to that my old identity was so attached to this girl that like I there's like these 4 main pillars that I realized was attached to her. I was really, really insecure, so I used her validation to make me feel more secure. Even if she gave me validation, even if she reassured me, I never felt really enough. You know, that unworthiness aspect, because inside I was so insecure. And so obviously that causes some friction because she gets annoyed. She got annoyed. 2, guilty. A couple little things that I made myself feel guilty of, I automatically assumed that she was guilty of doing other things. So that caused me to overthink. And that's probably like part 3. Overthinking. I let other things dictate how, I thought about her, or about how what social media said what girl would do, and etc. Just a bunch of little silly things, I would say. The 4th one I kind of forget. I know there was guilt, insecurity, overthinking. Maybe if I get to it, I'll remember it. But those are the 3 main ones right now. And I realized that I attached myself to her so much to the point where, like, since I didn't have her, it sort of felt like I was empty and I wasn't really complete. You know, it was more like, if I didn't have her, I'm not me. And maybe you are in the same situation. Maybe you were like, you're talking to yourself the same way, that like you need her, that she's the only one that you can ever get with. Look, God only knows who you're gonna get with at the end of the day. And so simply the best thing that was able to help me was learning to accept what's done is done, and that everything happens for me. If me and her never broke up, I promise you, I think I would have stopped doing YouTube. I think I would have stopped doing content creation. I think I would have just went to college or got a job. Maybe not go to college. I was always never going to that. But just got like a 9 to 5 and just started doing that forever. Because I was so insecure. I was so like just attached to someone, and I never really felt like I have power within me. My relationship with God wasn't so bad. It was just I kind of put her above him, which I know kind of sounds crazy, but that's how it was, you know? And obviously that sort of drains a person, me and her. So kind of, I'm not saying it was all my fault. Obviously, things just didn't work out because they weren't supposed to work out. But I'm also not blaming myself for not working out. It all happened for a reason, you know? And so that guilt aspect at the end of it, where it's like you start blaming yourself for the things that's already happened, it does not help you. You gotta just accept that it wasn't meant to be. And now you might have heard that and you're like, yeah, I tried accepting. How do I accept? How does that feeling of acceptance come within you? It's not a feeling. It's a choice. You got to choose to accept that something is done, you know? And I still get it. I still get it. I still get that temptation to text her. I still get that fantasy that, hey, maybe we get back together. But instead of me living in that fantasy or feeling guilty or feeling, I don't know, just all those negative emotions of like that desire, you know, that grip, that attachment, I let go. I'm like, God, I surrender this to you. Even now. And then one thing too is like my mind, the enemy you want to call it, it wants to get in my head and say, how are you not over her? It's been a year and a half almost. And look, there's even resistance there because I don't want to admit how long it's been, because I'm kind of embarrassed how long it's been and I'm not over the girl completely. I'd say I am. If someone else really came in my life, I promise you I'd be okay. It's not that I can't get with anybody else. It's just that's the latest one, you know? But anyway, that sort of shame, that sort of guilt, that embarrassment still sometimes gets to me. And that's something I gotta let go of. And because I kind of feel like I should be over her by now. It's been a year and a half. How am I not over her, you know? And instead of shaming myself for something that I can't control now, I simply just let that go as well. I let go of everything that brings me into that shame, into that guilt, into that anger, into that fear, into that attachment, into that old identity, because I want to move on. It's a choice. You know, a lot of this is going to be a choice. You have to choose to forgive yourself. You have to choose to accept what's done is done. And you got to choose to want to move on. If you don't choose you want to move on, well, then you'll always live in that same cycle. You always live in that same old identity who's been attached to someone. I'm not saying you were attached. I'm just, if you're relating to me, then you relate to me. But that same old identity who used to cling on to someone to make sure that they're secure. Or maybe it's loneliness. I know that's a big thing for a lot of people, that if they're not with someone, they feel lonely. Maybe it's that fear that they'll never find someone again. That's something that everyone has. I had that as well. But it's just having that faith that God will deliver you from all these temptations, all these enemy thoughts, these negative thoughts. And you'll be able to live life a little bit more easier. Every single day, it'll be not a battle. It'll be letting it go. I'm not telling you to fight those thoughts. I'm not telling you to say that you should be over her already, even if it's been longer than me. I know I'm saying a year and a half is pretty long, but I know some people who's not over their first love and it's been 4 or 5 years and they've gone through a couple relationships. It's okay that you're not over them, but it's simply because you haven't let go of that old identity and that attachment and that sort of everything that wraps around her. I'm gonna get some water before I die. But yeah, I've had this convo with my friends. I've had this convo with myself a million times. And I still fall. I still mess up. There are times where I do fall into, fantasies, etc. Thank goodness, though, I'm pretty proud of myself that I have not went out to go reach out or, ask too many questions or go figure out what she's doing these days, because it's not worth it. I think she would kill me. Kidding. I don't know if I'm going to get demonetized or I don't know. Cut that out. I'm not editing this. You get the idea, though. And if you have fell, and if you have reached back out, and you have, gone back into seeing them again, make sure it's because you're seeing them because God's guided you there. Make sure you're seeing them with being complete by yourself and not you needing them to make yourself feel complete. And maybe another fear you have, right, is that you never feel that type of love again. But that love she gave you was a reflection of how much you love yourself. And it may be hard to see. It may be hard to be like, how? I hated myself when I was with her. Or I don't even like myself now. How could I love myself so much before? You wouldn't be able to accept that love or even see it as love if you never loved yourself. For instance, if this whole insecurity thing that I had, no matter how many times she reassured me, I never felt secure because I was always insecure. I don't know if I rhymed there. But it goes with love. It goes with in general. You'll never be able to receive love. You'll never be able to give love if you don't receive it from yourself in the first place. It's that yin and yang factor. That might not even be close to what it refers to, but I kind of just started doing that. But you get the idea. So it all starts with within. It all starts with who you are, and it all starts with you detaching yourself from another person. It all starts from you detaching yourself from an external person, external thing to make yourself feel complete. You are already complete in God's eyes. You are already complete with God. And I'd say the number one way to get over your ex, get over your first love, is to be with God. Build that intimate relationship with him, to be able to talk to him, be able to cry to him, and you will be able to figure out how to continue letting go of these things. You'll be able to dig deeper and find out, are you insecure? Are you scared of being lonely? What other fears are plaguing your mind every single day? Because those things is what's ultimately causing you to still be attached to somebody, because If it's not her, then and you know, you're the inner you, the enemy. I'm gonna call it your ego. If you have been watching my videos, this ego is this young version of you who doesn't like to take accountability. Whether you like it or not, all those fears are inside of you, and if you don't want to take accountability, we're just gonna point outside of you to take accountability for something you feel within. For instance, let's say it's like pride. Let's say it's like, how can I relate this? I'm sorry. I hope I'm not wasting your time. Actually, why am I worried about that? If you're already 10 minutes in, then I think we're doing pretty good. But I lost my train of thought. You know what? I told myself I'm going to press one video and record and post because I don't want to continue redoing this. Not because I don't want to give you guys good content, but because I want to make sure I have no excuse to not post. I totally forgot what I was going to say. I think it was something about like making sure that nothing outside of you makes you feel any different. I'm sorry. Oh, the ego. Oh, I got it. Okay. So the ego, it doesn't like to kind of take accountability. So it likes to point fingers at what you feel inside. It likes to project. All right. Projection. That's what it's all about. And, so yeah. And maybe you do look back in your relationship from, you know, obviously future tense. You look back on what you could have done better, and you find out that, hey, I really did project my insecurity, and I really didn't trust her because, well, I couldn't trust myself. That was the other thing. I couldn't trust myself. Every time I said I would do something, I'll never do it, so I couldn't trust anyone else. All right. A lot of problems really does come from within. And again, I'm not saying it was all my fault, and I'm not saying it was her fault. It was not meant to be. And that's something you got to come to an agreement in terms with, because once you start pointing fingers, then it's going to be a game of who's winning, who's losing, who's right, who was wrong, whose fault it was and who wasn't, whose fault it wasn't. So like I said, accept it, forgive, and choose. Choose what life you want to live. I think I've gone through a lot. I've gotten through a lot in the video about how this stuff works. If there's any other questions, feel free to hit me up. I don't want to make this video too long because I think I might start repeating myself. But I hope you guys got the main object. I hope you guys got the main message. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna add this real quick though. I just kind of just popped in my head. Maybe it was from God. You might be wondering, well, how do I figure out if I'm insecure? How do I figure out that I'm afraid of being alone? You gotta pay attention to how you feel. You know, those thoughts that keep plaguing your mind. The way I figured out I was insecure was because I look back at all the moments she would reassure me, and no matter how many times she reassured me, I always felt insecure. And so I kind of just bring that into me. Honestly, y'all, I'll be honest with y'all, I was a pick me. I was. At some way, shape, or form, I was. Not the craziest, not the worst, but I was a pick me. I would be like, make myself feel all bad so she can reassure me and I can feel all bubbly again. But that never really helped me because, again, inside I didn't feel secure. And the way I, kind of picked that out as well was like, I would start looking at the thoughts I had. I'd be like, I don't deserve her, or it was just like not disgusting thoughts, but like, it was just like those thoughts that really bring you down, And I linked it back to like, I was just insecure. What other things do people who are insecure say? That I wasn't good looking enough, or I wasn't a good enough person, or that I needed to change in order to be with her. All those things to link to insecurity is what ultimately made me insecure, And then it goes with guilt. It goes with not being able to trust myself. If I said I was going to do something, I automatically had that doubt. Was like, are you sure? If someone else told me they were going to do something, I'd have that automatic doubt of like, you sure? But that doubt was just a reflection of how I felt, And this whole thing, and I want you guys to start realizing this, it's not just about you getting over your ex. It's about you letting go of who you once were. It's about you letting go of all that negativity inside your life so you can live a life full of God. And that's how honestly I started my life. That's how my spiritual journey. Truly. Because before then, I was doing it be honest with you, I was doing it just to get back, not to get back with her, not just to get back with her. Obviously, I was doing it to help people, to change lives, to, make a difference in my life. But it was, you know. And once I let that go, I've become free. And again, I do get those thoughts of like, what if I just text her? What if just one day we, connect again and things work out? I simply let it go. I say, God, if it's meant to be, it'll be. And if not, guide me to someone new. Allow me to become the future husband, allow me to be that guy. It's over her. That's okay. And the one thing too, I want you guys, I'm sorry this video is so long, but there's a bunch of things. I hope if you are staying this long, I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to say. And this thing it's really touching for me because it's something I've gone through heavily, what I've been going through for this past year and a half. Like I accepted it. Don't suppress your love you have for her. Yes, of course, some love is different. There's attachment love, and there's really just unconditional love that you truly hope that she's doing well, that no matter what, if she gets with someone else, that, hey, I hope it goes well, or I hope her, school is going well, or her future is going well, etc. That love is not a bad thing to have. So don't ever suppress it. You can pray to her. You can pray for her. Now, am I saying to reach out to her? No. If God guides you to do so, then do it. But all I'm saying is you can love someone from far away from within. All that love you send out to her will just come right back to you. And so don't suppress your love. But of course, don't make it an attachment. And that might be a little hard to do. I'm telling y'all, you can ask me questions. You can hit me up on Instagram at Daydaytalkss. It's linked in my YouTube bio. Probably won't link it down here because I'm too lazy. But you get the idea. Hope y'all enjoyed my longest video of the vlog 30-day session. And I'll catch y'all in the next. Take care. I think I said ask questions, right? I don't know. God bless.